Hello everyone, welcome to GametechUK, and this video, which is a review and setup of the VelocityOne Race from Turtle Beach. For full transparency, I am an affiliate of Turtle Beach. They did send me this free of charge. There is a affiliate link in the description. If you use that affiliate link and use the code GametechUK, you do get 10% off. It's always important to me to get that information out there as soon as possible in the video, just so you know who you're watching and how they got the product. It will never ever change my opinions, and if I need to criticize a product, I certainly will, whether I'm an affiliate or not. I have done a full unboxing of the VelocityOne Race. I will pop that video up top right of your screen, but with all that being said, let's get on with today's video. The wheel stand I'm using is from Next Level Racing. It's called the Wheel Stand 2.0. It's very strong, very sturdy, and ideal for me testing steering wheels such as the VelocityOne Race. As usual, I have done a full unboxing, and I will pop that video top right of your screen. Let's get the wheelbase onto the wheel stand. I chose to bolt the wheelbase to the wheel stand. You could use the included clamp, but I chose to bolt it down using the bolts on the underside of the base unit. Pedal set is bolted to the wheel stand in exactly the same way, using the bolt fixings on the underside of the pedals. To connect the side panel button box to your base unit is very easy. There's just a very small letterbox gap on the side of the unit. You just slide that in and put your two bolts in there, and it will all be securely fixed. Then it's a case of plugging in the supplied short USB-C to USB-C cable, which enables it to talk to the base unit. And it's time to connect the pedals up to the base unit in exactly the same way. That's really easy to do because the included cables have labels on them. As you can see, this one goes to the pedals. Connecting up the rim to the base unit is very easy. You can see some markings that are etched into the metal on the base unit. These match up with markings that are etched into the steering rim. All you do is you align these, pull back on the quick release washer and press down, and that's your rim all connected. First things first, and something you should do with any type of hardware similar to this, is to go to the manufacturer's website and make sure you've got the latest firmware. The Turtle Beach software is really good and easy to understand. The very first time you update the firmware out of the box, it does tell you, and it reminds you more than once, to unplug the pedal set. I'm not sure the reason for this, but I of course followed those instructions, and there's a two-part process. First, you need to download the firmware, and then you install it. For future firmware updates, you can leave the pedal set plugged in. After you've finished installing the hardware, you'll come to this summary screen, which will give you the latest release of the hardware and your installed version. These, of course, should always be the same. Looking through the software, starting with the overview window, this will give you a summary. So when you move the wheel, when you move the throttle, the brake, the clutch, or the two paddles, it will give a representation on screen so you know they're working and fully responding as they should. We then have the K-Drive menu. This is essentially the force feedback settings, and you've got presets such as track, drift, rally, or you can customize a preset. The strength you can set to low, medium, and high. As standard out the box, is set to 75%, so I'm going to turn this all the way up to 100%. Then we have the RMD, which is the race management display. You've got presets here as well. You've got free, you've got road, sport, race. They all look very different and display different information. You can change the colours of the backlit buttons for individual colours. You could also turn them down if this is distracting you, and you can have the colours on static, breathing, or going through a colour cycle. In the app, you can customise your pedals and put on things like throttle dead zones or brake dead zones, and you can have the brake sensitivity low, medium, or high. That also goes for the throttle and the clutch. If you're using the VelocityOne Race on PC like I am in this video and you want the RMD to work, you will need to go into SimHub. Just add a device, go down the list to Turtle Beach, click the VelocityOne, and now that will work in supported games. Alternatively, on the PC app, there is in the RMD section an option to launch the extended telemetry output app. There is a minimal games list here for compatibility, but I think your best option to get as many games working as possible is via SimHub. Now that brings me to compatibility. This is a PC and an Xbox wheel, and it seems on Xbox the RMD, the race management display, isn't supported by any games. I'm not sure if this is a limitation of the console or whether support just hasn't been inbuilt yet. I know on things like Forza, it can output telemetry via the console, so I'm not sure of the reason for that. On the PC, support is a little bit more healthy, but still not 100% for all the games that you like to play. You are going to have to wait for updates to come. So in this particular video, I'm going to be using Assetto Corsa Competizione, as that is supported with the RMD via SimHub. Here we are in ACC in the Lexus, and using the control unit on the side you can build in some more immersion. For example, I've set up a button for turning on the power of the car and then the ignition as well. It all adds to the immersion. Starting with the RMD, there are 3 different, as I've mentioned, screens that you can use. That's Road, Sport and Race. I'm just showing you here very briefly because it isn't the best camera angle. You can do all this on the fly. You don't need to come out of the game. You can just use the dial on the bottom right hand of the steering wheel. Let's start our fast lap of the Nordschleife, and for this lap I'm going to be using the race setting on the RMD. We're just waiting for our tyres to come into temperature, and you can see there's a nice amount of force feedback coming through the steering wheel. You can see that in my hands gripping and my arms, and for an 8 Nm steering wheel, direct drive of course, this has got a really nice feedback system. Now of course a lot of this will vary depending on how you've got your force feedback settings in game, but as we go over rumble strips, as we just generally feel the car moving from side to side, braking and accelerating, there is quite a lot of information coming back to me as the sim racer. Regarding the race management display, it's strange actually because the car overlay in-game has got all the information you could ever need. But as a real driver, I do find myself glancing down just like you would in a real car, particularly the gear indicator right in the middle of the RMD. That's going to be very handy. And it just builds immersion and gives you a better feedback for that sim racing experience. Pedals are always hard to film in videos like this. It's very dark under my desk, so it's no good putting a camera down there at all. But the main increase in any pace that you're going to find in sim racing always comes initially from a load cell pedal, and this load cell pedal is very, very good. I've literally got no complaints of it at all. The button placement of the unit is absolutely fine, there's no complaints there. You saw me earlier set this to a cycle of RGB colours, and that works really well for me actually. I really like that. Sometimes I just glance down and I can see a certain colour more than others. The paddles are lovely, they're metal, there's absolutely no issues with them. And also the covering of the steering wheel, I don't think it's real leather, I think it's fake leather, but whatever the covering is, especially the perforated areas at the side, they're nice and grippy, and it all feels really nice quality. The only change I would make would be to have less plastic, especially at the price point it's at. It does overall feel quite a plasticky experience. Overall though, the force feedback system, the kinetic drive, is absolutely lovely. There's a lot of detail here and it's delivered in a very smooth package. I can feel everything from the road to the rumble strips to high speed to corners. Everything is coming through the steering wheel and it's a very, very nice experience to race with. If you're coming from a Thrustmaster or a Logitech G920, which are belt driven, this is a pure direct drive system, it's going to be an absolutely huge upgrade. And I do own a Fanatec DD Pro, which is also 8 Nm, and the feedback system in both is very comparable. The overall force feedback model is actually quite impressive. It feels really, really nice. The pedals are a strong point. That load cell pedal is very nice. The race management display is going to help you as a driver glancing down and getting the information that you want. And that side control unit is going to build in immersion for things like starting up and adding power to the vehicle. Overall, a very nice package. My only slight issue with the control unit is the fact that where it says engine start, that is just to power the unit on. You can't use that to start your engine in-game. And the K drive button is just for safety. If you press that, the force feedback will instantly stop. Now it's time to summarise with some positives and some negatives. Has a smooth, detailed force feedback model. Ultimately, what you're buying this product for is to go sim racing, and you want the best detail possible, and it does a really good job of delivering that. The load cell pedal is a very strong point of the package, and that's really going to help you improve your lap times. It's an all-in-one package, perfect for the sim racer that just wants to purchase one product to do everything. The race display, the button box, the load cell, and the direct drive. It's ready available. It's available in a lot of high street stores. It's available on Amazon, and you don't have to pay import duty, unlike some of the Chinese brands that are currently on the market. Now for the negatives, I do find the product slightly too expensive. I think with something like £100 off would have made this an absolutely irresistible option in the mix of the current direct drive wheels. It's very plasticky. Almost everything you touch is made of plastic, and it really does lower that quality feel, especially at this price point. The race management display has very limited support and no support currently on console, and it really does lessen that selling point of having that display on the unit. With the steering wheel being removable, it does hint that obviously more rims are going to come available. So a rally rim, for example, a Formula One rim would be a great addition to this package and start to build an ecosystem around the VelocityOne Race. I really feel that if you're currently using a belt-driven Thrustmaster or Logitech and you upgrade to this, it's a huge upgrade. The direct drive is fantastic. You've got the whole package there with the button box on the side, and for supported games, the RMD is going to be fantastic. So as an all-in-one package coming from Thrustmaster or Logitech, this is going to be a huge upgrade. If you've already got a direct drive rim, I don't see any reason to sidestep to the VelocityOne Race, and there are cheaper alternatives available, but for an all-in-one package is a very nice offering. I hope this video has been of use to you, especially if you are thinking of purchasing the VelocityOne Race. If you are and you're buying it direct from Turtle Beach, use that code GametechUK to get a very valuable 10% off the product. Feel free to leave me any comments or opinions in the comments section below. Feel free to subscribe. There is a playlist popping up top right of your screen with lots of hardware in there being reviewed here on the channel. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.